Well, last time I paid my robot friend to do my voiceovers, but this time I'm feeling brave. In my last video it was all about Seattle and Twin Peaks, but now we're gonna see the second part of this big-ass trip, and this is where things get wild. Literally, because it's a Yellowstone road trip. So there's gonna be lots of nature, bison, geysers, all of that. There's also gonna be a lot more film photography, but don't you worry, because once again there's also gonna be my usual dose of existential doubt and gross incompetence. So welcome to the part where everything is magnificent and I'll try my best not to screw it up. So yeah, get your bear spray ready and let's begin. First off, Bozeman's airport is pretty awesome. Basically looks like a luxury chalet that decided to become an airport. On the way to our hotel, I started taking the classic shots from the car window. Obviously, when I'm not the driver, I'm not quite ready to die for my art yet. I usually take this digitally because with film I get performance anxiety. Anyway, what I didn't know yet was that the more beautiful the places would become, the harder it would be to shoot them. But we'll talk about that later. This one isn't that bad. The subject is a little too far away, but the atmosphere, the light and the composition kinda work. Anyway, we were immediately welcomed by the local wildlife. Hotel had a very mountain vibe in the sense that it had everything you expect from Montana. A wooden porch, a half-abandoned house, a random old car parked outside, and this guy here. After a trip like that, I had the energy of a houseplant, and the light was already in that ISO 3200 and the hope for the best range, so I only took a few digital shots. I wouldn't have had the patience for film. This photo screams, you could have done better. With a medium format camera on a tripod, this would have been epic, but I shot it with the Fuji X-T4 handheld with a 35mm at 1.4 at 1/60th and ISO 1250 and completely underexposed. Then I tried to brighten it up and now it looks like it's painted with mud. The next morning we left early, heading to Lamar Valley. It's one of the most iconic areas in Yellowstone, mainly famous for two things: incredible landscapes and wildlife everywhere. And sure enough, obsession with dead, skinny trees has begun. I especially like them in groups or pairs, even better if they're leaning towards the abyss. I would always stop to shoot them. Maybe it's because I'm dead inside as well. Anyway, the time has finally come to bust out the medium format camera for this trip, the Fuji GS645S. I have a very, let's say, complicated relationship with this camera. I got it because basically I was looking for a cheaper Mamiya 7, but with no electronics. This one is still a medium format, even if it's just 645, but it's enough for me. It's super lightweight and travel friendly, and I love the fact that loading film is super easy. But there are some things that I don't really like about this, like the portrait orientation. You will see I shot a lot of vertical photos in this trip, and I'm not proud of that. I usually prefer landscape orientation, especially for landscapes, but with this camera it's actually easier to shoot vertical, which doesn't make sense because it's not really a portrait camera. It's not really good for portraits. I mean, the lens is wide, the focusing system it's not really the best for portraits, the minimum focus distance is too far away, the lens is not bright enough to get some good bokeh, so it doesn't make sense. I don't know, I don't get it. My rule of thumb with this one is just to keep the focus at infinity and hope for the best. Ah yes, and I also had Nikon FM with me, with the same APX 400 that I started in Seattle. Heading east, we passed over down Raven Pass, up to Silvergate, and then onto the Beartooth Highway, considered one of the most beautiful scenic drives in America. Maybe it's just me, but it didn't leave me a huge impression. On the other hand, these grizzly prints, whether they're real or not, struck me a little more, and the sign doesn't exactly help you feel at ease. Oh, and while we're on the subject, the Beartooth is named after Beartooth Mountain, which supposedly looks just like a bear's tooth. I don't know who saw a tooth there, but I'll take their word for it. I should now say that I'm not a landscape photographer. I shot some landscapes though, because, well, there was no way not to. None of them are great, but you know, I was just too busy being amazed that those places even exist. At this point, I have to admit something. I find it way harder to take good photos in beautiful places. Too much beauty is actually counterproductive. I don't know if it sounds paradoxical. I mean, how are you supposed to be original in Yellowstone? So for my next trips, I think I'm gonna aim to places that are less photogenic and less famous. And I've also realized I don't really like classic landscape shots, they kinda bore me. I prefer the shots that show a weirder or hidden side of a place, especially if they have some human traces that can actually tell a story. Is it just me? kinda like the top of the world store, which I still haven't quite figured out what it is, but the name sounds good. And then it started raining pretty hard. Not as hard as I was trying to get a decent photo, but this is one of my favorites. Maybe it's because it's not just a landscape, maybe it's because I'm obsessed with signs, and even if the composition isn't perfect, I think the light and the atmosphere kinda work. Back into the park for another dose of dead trees, deer, and bison. Iconic stop, the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, a surreal view which I tried shooting from every angle, all of which have surely been shot by millions of people already. As I was saying, I'm not a landscape person, but I wasn't there to revolutionize travel photography. Sometimes it's good to just look around and get excited that certain places actually exist. Mammoth is another one of the popular spots and probably one of my favorites. Bleak and inhospitable, just the way I like them. Here you can go crazy with the most random shots. Unless you're a serious photographer, but that's not me. The next day by saying hi to our neighbors. All normal. Then we went back to Mammoth to catch a better light, and it was a good idea, because here I got some of the most surreal shots of the trip. surrounding area again. With a gold, but the viewpoint wasn't really worth it, so I didn't shoot anything. It happens sometimes. And then the fun begins. Just kidding, it's been fun so far, but here comes the most Yellowstone-y part, the geyser basins. This is when beauty became too much for me. My brain stopped working and I started shooting randomly, totally overwhelmed. Is not so bad, maybe because of the boardwalk, which in my opinion makes it a bit more interesting. Okay, but I haven't really explained what Yellowstone is yet, so here's a little explanation. Yellowstone isn't just a national park, it's an active supervolcano, one of the largest in the world. The geysers and hot springs are the park's way of reminding you that there's a cauldron of magma right under your feet. Over half of the world's active geysers are in Yellowstone. The park is huge. And it's not just a matter of geology, it's also home to incredible wildlife, bison, bears, wolves, and other animals that make it clear that in this park you're just a guest. It's no coincidence that it's also one of the most visited parks in the world, and given the statistics, a certain number of tourists regularly end up burned by boiling pools or hit by bison. With a new day comes a new parade made of geysers and dead trees. This time we went to the fountain pen pots with its bubbling pools and fumaroles that look like they're straight out of a post-apocalyptic movie. Spring, the most photographed thing in all of Yellowstone. It's a giant hot spring, famous for those absurd colors that look photoshopped, but they're just algae and bacteria, I swear. First we saw it from the bottom, then we hiked to see it from the top. I'll spare you the sight of us sweating to get there, but I'd say it was worth it. It really looks like a Windows screensaver. I'm not even kidding, my mom actually put it as her computer background. And here's our home for the next few nights, the Old Faithful bungalows. Can we just talk about that bison plushie and the little bear-shaped soap? Of course I took it home with me, and we all know I'm never gonna use it. We were basically right in front of the Old Faithful, the most famous geyser in the world. It shows up every 90 minutes, just like that feeling of dread on a Sunday night. I tried to shoot it at sunset, but without a tripod, this is the only decent photo I was able to take. We also checked out the Old Faithful Lodge. Too fancy to sleep in, but perfect for having breakfast while pretending we could have afforded the room. The next morning I tried it again, hoping for better light. Was already a bit better. After reloading my cameras, we also snuck a peek at the other historic hotel, the Old Faithful Inn. Happened. A classic prank from the Fuji, which sometimes happens with the first photo of the roll, and I still haven't figured out why. But by now, I consider the first photo on every roll like a sacrifice to the analog gods. geysers and alien landscapes later. At this point, geysers were starting to come out of our ears, but we didn't stop. We went back to the Old Faithful Inn to explore it a little bit better. Basically looked like a mix between a mountain chalet and a haunted house. It even had a scenic terrace with a view of the Old Faithful, the real star of the show. Back in the car heading south. We stopped at the Continental Divide, that point where the water decides whether to flow toward the Atlantic or the Pacific. Visited West Thumb, a hot springs area right on the edge of the Yellowstone lake. The crazy thing is that geysers and fumaroles are located even under the lake. You're basically looking at a crater within a crater. At our hotel in Grant Village, we were greeted by the same old bison plushie again. I swear I was this close to actually buying it. Then we had dinner near the lake. And as you can see, they were already closing at 6:30 p.m. That's what real America is all about, I guess. Next morning, we left early and drove along the lake to another of the park's must-see stops. We finally got to Hayden Valley. It's one of the most iconic areas for wildlife observation. It's a vast river plain crossed by the Yellowstone River. miles of meadows, a calm river, and bison staring at you as if you were the tourist attraction. At dawn and dusk, the valley fills with mist and thermal steam, creating a mystical atmosphere that makes it one of the most photogenic areas of the park. From here on out, it was an endless loop of traffic jams caused by bison. It's so normal here, they even gave it a name, Bison Jam. We also spotted our first bear. Apparently, we still hadn't had our fill of geysers yet, so we also explored Mud Volcano, which unfortunately isn't actually a volcano that shoots mud, but it's just a bubbling area of hot pools and boiling mud. Drove on toward the Grand Teton, but first I absolutely had to stop and shoot the leaning tree near the south entrance of Yellowstone, which always looks like it's on the verge of collapsing, a little like me while editing this video. By the way, if it seems like it took me a lifetime to publish this video, well, you're right, but I can guarantee it would have taken me so much longer if it wasn't for a little help that I had from the Geyser, a film simulation plugin that I used to do the color correction for this video. So I used the CineStill 800T simulation, and I also added some film damage effects on some clips. I used DaVinci Resolve, but I know that the answer also works on Lightroom and Photoshop for photos, but also on Premiere, After Effects and Final Cut for videos. And I also have an online version and an iOS app that I haven't tried yet, but I will. And so I think it's a really cool plugin, and if you want to try it, you can use my code Nowhere10 for 10% off. And I know what you're thinking, but no, they didn't pay me to say this. Teton exploration begins. It's a national park right on the southern border with Yellowstone in Wyoming, and it's famous for its pointy and spectacular mountains that reflect in perfect lakes to the delight of any photographer, at least when the light cooperates. During my first exploration though, the light was not cooperating at all. I don't know if it was because of some wildfire, but the light and visibility were, let's just say, not the best, and my photos completely sucked. Baker Landing, or whatever the hell they call it, is a scenic spot on the Snake River, also very popular with photographers. When we got there, the light sucked so bad that you could barely see the mountains, and I was shooting more out of desperation than inspiration. And the same goes for the Snake River Overlook, a famous spot because of that one photo by some guy named Ansel Adams. I just thought, okay, maybe next time. This was another really cool hotel. The next morning the light was definitely better, so I could finally get some decent shots. At this point, our second bear crossed the road in front of us, like it was just some random golden retriever. Anyway, the mountains under the right light were actually a spectacular sight. But anyway, after that close encounter with the bear, I was so pumped up that I would have happily shot with the lens cap on and been just as happy. Then we got to Mormon Row, a historic area inside the Grand Teton, home to the famous Molton Barns, the most photographed barns in America. Yeah, I know, the old barn cliché. Guess I'm officially a hipster YouTuber now. Always loved furry potatoes. And this is the result with the Fuji. I'm kinda embarrassed to admit that I may have been the one to accidentally open the camera before completely rewinding the film. I actually don't remember doing that, but it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. And I would like to promise that it won't happen again. But that would basically mean that from now on, I actually know what I'm doing. And we all know what else it would mean. The end of this channel. mountains and these relaxing landscapes a little longer as we headed back north. And then back in Yellowstone to see something we were really missing. More geysers. After a quick picnic, we kept going toward the park's west entrance. Right near our hotel in West Yellowstone, there was the Grizzly and Wolf Discovery Center, an educational spot for bears and wolves who can't survive in the wild. Seeing them there honestly broke my heart a little, but it's reassuring to know that they have someone taking care of them. Stroll in West Yellowstone. It honestly felt like a Western movie set and was just so American. Too bad things went the way they did. From then on, I threw in the towel and switched to my XC4 for the rest of the night. last day, we had to go back to Bozeman to catch our flight, but first I wanted to stop and take a couple of shots of some other very American things. So then we went back to Seattle for our very last American night, and that's how the trip came full circle. By the way, what about all the stop signs I shot during this trip? Were they meant to send me a message? Like, I don't know, maybe to stop chasing the perfect photo and remind me that every mistake is part of the journey? I guess the clearest sign is that I should probably stop now and end this video.